Hello and welcome to part 2. The bike's pretty well stripped down now, that's as far as I'm going to go with it. So I've got everything off. You can probably just see the top of the wheel there. I've got the back wheel back in so it gives some stability so I can move it about a bit and start putting bits back onto the bike now. I'll show you a picture of sort of how fast we've stripped it down. You'll be able to see this now. Right, so this is a cosmetic job, but the indicators, as I said previously, chrome's flaking on the edge, so I've got new indicators to go on there, Lucas replacements. I'm going to take the headlight off and get the top yoke out because I want to put new headlight bracket ears on. There again, they're rusty, they look awful, absolutely awful. These weren't too dear to buy these. While they're off, I've got some new fork top nuts which are stainless steel, so they're replacing the top there. So my aim now is to get the headlight undone. I'm going to get the wiring out, remove the indicators, handlebars off and the top yoke out. Hopefully that'll be okay to then slide off these ears and put the new ones on. So let's make a start on that. Noisy lawnmower outside. There you go, look, that is just such an easy job to replace those. Literally 5 minutes. Brilliant. Well, that's headlight bracket undone, and these spacers are one in each side, as I found out between there and the headlight shell, which fell out and rolled around the floor, but I've lost them anyway. Big nuts, they certainly are. So I've got my big nut spanner on now. I've already just cracked it loose. Here we go. I think we're getting out. Let's put that out of the way. Dropping my clock, and God dear. What you can't see here is what it's smashing my bloody head on. This is the opposite to what I said. In actual fact, you need to put a bit of pressure on them because the top nuts go into here, the locking nut on there. I need to put a bit of pressure to hold it, so I have to hold that and undo this. I can't do that holding the camera, so I'll do that and come back. I should look to be new nuts first, shouldn't I? Because I'd have realised that, and I've seen this before in forks with Nortons. But anyway, I've undone that. I need to just crack the lock nut there. You can see the thread which goes up inside here. That's off. Now the, what's that, rev counter off. I can dangle that down somewhere out of the way. That's going to roll way down there, that's it. Down there. I've now loosened the handlebars. Get this other side off. I'll throw the handlebars over the front and undo the fork stem nut there. So it's the handlebars over the front there. Got to take this rubber off. Don't want to prise against the paint, so anywhere in here, because the handlebars will be in this part. And there we go, it's got movement on it. Just a bung. A rubber bung. So what we got here, let's have a look. Next thing is to work out how to get that out. I think I might have to go to the manual to look at this one, or is it a pinch bolt or something? Don't know, looks a bit odd to me. You know, we have a nut on the top there and it's not an Allen key. I'll see right through it. I can't see that we just tap straight off. I'll give it a tap with the rubber mallet under here and here, and just to see if there is any movement first, and then consult the manual. Well, there's the mallet. There's the top yoke, and it doesn't do that, so I've consulted the manual and had a look. And what it is, there's a nut down here. So you undo the nut and you pull. It's like almost back to front. Normally the bottom yoke has the shaft on it going through. This, you undo the nut here and pull it all up, but what's going to happen, the whole of my front end's going to come off, so I don't really want to do that. So the next thing is I've got to take the front wheel out because I'm going to be refurbing that. So as it's coming out, I might as well just then slide each fork leg out, which means mudguard off as well. But the thing is, taking all these bits off, at least I can give them a good clean before they get back on the bike again. So that's the next thing, is to get the front wheel off, but the back wheel is already off. So I'm possibly going to have to pivot this and strap it to the ceiling to hold the front up in the air so the bike doesn't fall over. And if it goes back, it will rock on that stand, so that'll be okay there. And just try and keep the front end off the ground. It seems to be one of those jobs where you've got to go 10 back to go 1 bloody forward. So what I've done in the end, I've pivoted the bike back, put a block underneath the front there, like a bit of a modern railway sleeper. That's holding the front wheel off the ground comfortably. Next thing is to loosen the nut on this side of the wheel. So just going to move on that block. So I'll loosen that. Then once I've loosened that, I've got to loosen the clamp here. Then this spindle here will be able to loosen that and pull that through. The wheel should then drop out or wiggle out from the disc, because the caliper's bound to be a little bit stuck up. It's been a bit rusty on the back of there. Oh, that's come up okay. Taking the nut off of there, and down this side as we were before, there's your clamp bolt there with a nut on. So I've just loosened as it's rotating, and I've put a screwdriver through the hole here, and this is already quite loose. You can see as I'm twisting and pulling, you see a bit of movement there already. So I'm going to put the camera down so I can pull that through and hold the wheel and not do any damage to the bike. I've now decided at this stage that I've pulled the spindle through, the wheel's dropped down a bit, it's now on the floor and I'm rocking about, and I don't want to be knocking it off this block. So I think what I need to do is undo the mudguard, lift the mudguard up out of the way, then the wheel will just pull out comfortably and I can keep an eye on the block here. There's the front wheel out. As you can see here now, I've got the sliders and the stanchions, so I've got to loosen the stanchions. Hopefully just that there, the Allen pinch bolt, and wiggle these down, but I don't sort of have too much faith, so I've done these before and things can be stuck in a bloody nightmare. People bung chisels in it, open these up, but I'll undo that and see how it goes. There's the fun part, always try to find something that fits, but do get a tight fit, because if it's a bit sloppy and you ran it head off, you're going to have nightmares try to get it undone. So it's about, again, I'll have to take the camera away and put a bit of leverage on that, I think. Right, top tip, a bit of leverage on your Allen key, get a ring spanner in there. There we go. That wasn't too painful, was it? That's it. Right, put the spanner down. And there we go. Hopefully the other side will be the same. What I think I'll do, I'll just take them right out. Because it's right out, there's nothing that can snag then. And the fault hasn't dropped down, has it? Which I did expect it to, but it'd be nice if it had have just dropped there. Here we go. Another long bolt. That's it. Nothing else there. Nope. So that should now wriggle down. So I've undone the pinch bolts, taken them out of here, and that's not turning at all. It's solid. But what I suspect is, and I'm hoping, it's tapered at this end. So I've wound tapered up at this end here into the top yoke. So I'm winding the nut in quite a bit on the threads. You don't want just touching each of the threads, and then hopefully with a short, sharp shock with a mallet. Oh, hitting that bloody aeroplane above me head again. This thing here, right. There we go. That's taking it down. So now I'll take the nut out. There we go, nice and loose. That did the trick. Next job, caliper off. Where's my leverage? It's all the go. There we go. Spin on there. There we go. One. 2. Right, I'll get that off now. Caliper off, and that's both me forks off. So I can clean them now. I might polish the bottom parts as they're off now. I didn't want to go that mad with it, but it's coming along nice, the bike, so I might just get them on the polishing wheel at work and give it a go. There's the ears, and they're turning, so you can see the rust on that one that I was talking about. So I've got a new one. And have a look. Yeah, it's slightly longer. I'm going to have to just take that pinch nut off, turn it a couple of turns, I think, to drop these out, and then get the new ones in. That'll be something gone back on the bike then. Note before undoing this, it's a tab washer here, so I've got to release that tab. I'll check the direction of these threads, see if it's left or right. I think it's a normal thread on that. But get a tab out of the way first, get a socket on there and see if I can get it undone a bit. Yeah, so I loosened that nut there, which lowered the bottom of this fork down a bit. And then these came out, they just slipped out. But what I did notice, there's a rubber ring there and there's a rubber ring there, so it sits against those when it goes in, so make sure you don't lose them when fitting the new ones. So that's the old ones out, so you can see I've had to go to a big old job just to get them out. But it'd be worth it. It didn't take long. I probably talk about 30-40 minutes, so that isn't a massive job really. Just seems a bit daunting before you start. Two-handed job, so I have to get Emma to help me. I have to hold the bottom fork yoke. Got the seal in here and the seal in there. Obviously they stay in. The top ones I like to put some grease in, and you've got to try and tighten it up while everything's trying to turn to get it in there and pinch up. Just, it's exactly the same fit, and it's a tiny little ledge, and push against the seal. So I've done that, all happy with it. Then coming at the top, got the top there, it's fine. Filling that top one, it's just popped out, so I've got it here now. And I dare say there's some smart arse who'd tell you there's an easy way to do it, because there always is on these forums. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart arses, to be honest with you. I think you do it yourself, you have a go and you learn. That's the way about it, because everyone always knows a better way, but sod the better way. I'll get a new pair of the little rubber seals and try it again. So there's a bit of before and after. So both in this sort of state here, which isn't too bad. And I've just run these up on the buffing wheel. And give them a little bit more of a polish by hand, a bit of auto sole once they're in the bike. Quite a difference though. Right, now I've calmed down a bit. I've gone about it a different way. So I'll put the seal in the bottom, slackened off the yokes, there's a little bit of play there. Put the seal in the bottom, like this side here, you can see there. Bit of grease around it so it doesn't fall out. Got a pinch bolt ready to tighten up. Slid the ear on and pushed it in there. Stanchion, pushed it up until it just comes below here where the other seal's going to go, and then just nipped up the nut here to hold the stanchion in place. Then pushed the seal in from the top, which dropped in that little groove, and then pulled the stanchion like this through, so it can only go through it, and then you're there. Then you can tighten everything back up. So I've got the bottom one in here, and I'm about to put the ear on. Yes, that worked. I actually slid the stanchion down a little bit further because I couldn't quite get it round. It was pushing tight against the top yoke there, so I dropped it down just below the headlight ear, pushed the O-ring in, loosened the clamp, pushed it up so we're nearly at the top there, and tighten it up so you can feel the tension now against the rubber, because I've tightened the nut up at the bottom as well afterwards. You can see this one here is near the top. So what I've got to do now is put the rev counter and clock on and the top nuts, which will pull all this tight. Then I can get everything nipped up as best as I can for now and get the headlight on, but I can't really keep it sort of like at a finished stage because the wheel's got to go in. Once the wheel goes in, this is bound to be out slightly, so I have to just crack these a little bit, get it to the right angle, and then tighten up again. Not the nicest of jobs, I'll admit that, but well worth the end result. Now you look at that compared to what was there. These old things looked awful. If you paint them up, you never get that sort of standard. And the top nuts looking shiny, whereas that's the old nut, which weren't too bad, but if you take it apart and replace them stainless, then they're going to be good. So I've given everything a little bit of a clean up. I've blurted a bit of paint on the bottom yoke here because it was a bit scratched, and a little bit on the top, so I've just flatted that back, blurted a bit of black hammerite smooth in there, which does a very good job of blending in. And with the bottom end polished up, and I've cleaned all round the clocks while I've been working on it, so that front end's starting to look pretty nice. I'm happy with it. So it's it's not so much a hard job, it's a bit of just a pain in the arse job, but well worth the end result. And give it a clean, say around the clocks, which look like really nice. Look at that for mileage, not bad at all, eh? So that engine should be good with a low mileage like that. I know the history of the bike, and it wasn't used, I don't think, for 20 to 30 years. The chap I got it from unfortunately passed away, and his wife wanted me to have it, so I gave her a good deal, so she'd be happy and I'd be happy with it, and knowing that Colin, who used to own the bike, would be happy, and I knew him quite well, so it's another nice thing. It's a bike I want to keep and enjoy and sort of remember him by, really. Now for the fun bit, all the electrics or all the wiring is in a bit of a mess. I've pulled it all out of the headlight shell here. A couple of reasons why. One, because I forgot to thread the headlight through before I put the forks back in, and again I want to check all these bullet connections, because when I tried to kick the bike over to see if I've got a spark, there's no spark there. Indicators aren't working, some things do, some things don't, and in this big cluster of wires here, when I pulled the bullets out, they're corroded in a lot of them. So I've changed, you see the white block here, that's one I did with the multimeter and checked there was no power running through to the points, so I've put this four-way one on where all the white connectors go in, and a two-way somewhere around here, which has then got me a spark. So there's power now to the coils and the points, so I think I'm going to change all this around and have a good look into it. So while that's off, it's a good thing to do. Now next, I'll put the headlight shell on and the new indicator, which looks much smarter than the old one with the long stalk. I think it looked a bit too long sticking out here. Like I said before, these were quite reasonable in price, so I've tightened it through. That's holding quite sturdy as it is, and a lock nut on the inside there, ready to pick up onto the loom once that's fed back into there. So this here, you can see there's a spacer behind, and this just screws in, but I've already noticed a problem already. Look at the angle of the indicators. This has been bent inside here, so I've got to literally get something to try and straighten out a bit, which will bring the stalk up in the air a bit to level them out. Well, I've had an awful time with the wiring. When I first checked everything, ignition switch on, new battery in, virtually nothing, just a brake light, no spark, no nothing. So I got myself a multimeter, checked through the wiring, and found all the bullet connectors around this area were very badly corroded. Took those apart, cleaned them up, put new bullets in, new connectors, and started to get stuff back. So the engine turns over, the new electric Odin starter, that turns over well. Got a spark on both plugs, which is thumbs up on that one. And then we've got brake light, tail light, side light, indicators, horn, flasher, but we've not yet got full beam or dip. So I've got to investigate that and find out what's going on with the wiring on that. So that's the wiring nearly sorted. I've got the rocker covers off here. Going to check the tappets on it. Everything is really clean inside, so I'm going to dribble a bit of oil in as well to soak down. It's been standing for a while. Set the tappet covers on. So we're starting to come back together now and getting the project back up on its feet. And I don't think it'll take long from here, because more or less everything's been done. So I've sorted all the wires out inside the headlight. Made a couple of new solder joints in there and a good earth, because the earth had just fallen out of its tag. Put the ignition on just now with the battery connected, and hooter, I've got hooter, so that's something that's connected up. I've got no indicators yet, no full beam or low beam, but I've got flasher. I've started to have the what is it? Yeah, so the main lights and indicators are what we haven't got. Now, we have now got a spark as well when I turn over with the, I've got a conversion in there, the starter motor. When I turned it over before, there was no spark. So now I've put all the white wires here into a new block and clean them. We've now got spark. You can see the big rubber block here, I've just taken them out of there, so they're all coupled up in pairs and stuff. But you can see these wires here, the condition, and this is so awful. So I'm just going to throw it on the floor, and then I'm going to gradually take these out, clean them, and put them into blocks like this, so that each one's in its separate area and I can keep an eye on it. But they're 50 years old probably now, so it's about time it's done anyway. So here we are, balancing on a bit of block on the stand there. Hasn't fallen off yet, and it's about to have its wheels go back on. I'm going to get the front wheel back on first, because now the forks are done. They're looking nice. I can get the front wheel on. I've bought a new disc for that to go on because it's a bit pitted. Only £80, that's not bad, is it? New disc on, front wheel on, front mudguard on, and we sort of got to get a bit of wood out there, so I'm a bit happier about the bike standing. I've still got to clean inside the back mudguard yet, so I'm going to aim to do that today. That means the back wheel can go in. So that's what I'm concentrating on this weekend, is getting both the wheels in and getting it rolling, so I can move it along a bit, and a bit more cleaning on the engine, because while I can get to it, I might as well do it. And that wiring that I was talking about, I'm going to just get something around that, like some tape, some insulation tape to bond all that in nicely. Right, so they're back in this pot again. So is that a cleaner, was it? That's it now in nickel plating. They'll be in there, I think, 2. Is that eating away, or is that putting on makes that like fizzing effect? Hydrogen and oxygen. If you left it in there too long, what would happen? Would it come out about a foot feet?
Come out a foot feet.